Educating kids through performing arts. Well, that's the goal of Talespinner Children's Theater located in Cleveland. And joining us live now is Executive Artistic Director Heather Utzler-Smith. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning.
So
thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Talespinner is basically one of Cleveland's best kept secrets. And for people who are not familiar with what it is that you do, can you share that with us, please?
Absolutely. So we are a professional children's theater. And what that means is that we hire professional actors and creative teams to create shows that are specifically aimed at young people and the grown-ups that they bring with them to the theater.
I'm going to be honest, I had never heard about you guys before either, so I did a lot of research, and I am just so impressed with all of the upcoming productions that you have and the summer camps. So why don't you share with our viewers what some of those things are as well?
Absolutely wonderful. So we are celebrating our 10th anniversary season this year. We are so excited. And this is also our first season back post-pandemic. This is our first kind of re-entry, and we have a great team with us. And so we are celebrating with a full season. What we have coming up next is a production of Hook and Smee, which is actually a production that we've done before. And it's written by local Cleveland playwright T. Paul Lowry. And it is the story of Peter Pan before Peter Pan. So we have this kind of prequel with swashbuckling and drama and adventure and magic, and it is just perfect for kids about age 6 and up and their families. There's a lot of interest for the parents too. I have a 3-year-old, right? We want to have something that's engaging for the entire family, and I think we've really tapped into that. And I'm actually going to show you a little bit of what we've got started here. So this is a set that is about 50% done. So you are getting a sneak preview, early access to what we've got built. And so this will continue to kind of grow and expand. And so we are so excited to share this show. In addition to Hook and Smee, which goes up March 11th through the 26th, we also have spring break programs. So we've got camps for kids in elementary school all the way down to preschool. We've got half-day programs for kind of our youngest learners. We've also got a rummage sale because we're moving in June. And so we're gonna kind of, if you've ever wondered what is behind the scenes at a theater, you can come and have your own little piece of it from our rummage sale. Those will be in March as well. And we have our spring session of classes. So this is 8 weeks of classes on Saturdays for children aged 0 through 6th grade. So there's something for a lot of different age kids, got siblings that can be involved there. And we've also got our annual gala, and that's on April 28th, and that should be a lot of fun. We're gonna themed movin' and groovin' as we kind of look towards our new space and we look towards our new decade. As we approach our 2nd decade, we've got our kind of 70s theme, so it should be a really good time.
So still talking about this particular space, I love how from the time you walk in, there are so many different things to see, and having small kids myself, I know how important it is to keep their attention span going.
Yes.
So I'm curious, how long are these productions?
Absolutely. Hook and Smee runs between 45 and 60 minutes, which is pretty standard for a Talespinner show. We're looking at something that's going to keep their attention for about as long as the attention span of a kid, right? Which we know is not going to be a 3-hour musical. So we really aim our whole experience at being something that is for the kids, that is shaped around who they are and their experience and what they bring as young people into our theater.
Wonderful. So again, the show is going to start next month, and something that we're going to talk about a little bit later in the show, you're an accessibility designer, which you'll want to stay tuned to find out what that is, because that means so many people are going to be able to enjoy this show. Thank you. We'll talk to you in a little bit, okay? Well, teaching children life skills through theater, no matter what their abilities are. That's just part of the goal at Talespinner Children's Theater. And joining us once again is Heather Utzler-Smith. And Heather, earlier I mentioned that you have a background in accessibility designing, which means you're making sure all of your programming is accessible for as many people as possible. Can you share in what ways you do that?
Absolutely. So central to Talespinner's mission is that we want to be Cleveland's lifelong theatrical home for children, birth through adulthood, and for all children. And so what that means for us is that we really design our space and our productions to be as accessible as possible for as many people as possible. So we've got this nice big open lobby. It's a fully accessible space for folks who may use wheelchairs. We've also got a lot of access tools that we will provide in our spaces. So I'm going to walk you over to one of our access tables tables right now. And so here we've got a variety of tools that we provide every single show. So here at Talespinner, every single performance is what we call a relaxed performance, or what you might have heard referred to as a sensory-friendly performance at another theater. And so that means that we don't do full blackouts, our sound is not quite as loud as you might experience at some other spaces, and also that kids are encouraged to move as they need to move, to wiggle if they need to wiggle, to get up and come out of the theater if they need to respond in whatever way they are responding to the show. And so we also provide a series of tools. So we've got noise-reducing headphones, we've got sunglasses, we've got fidgets, and we also provide embedded in every single one of our productions these artistically designed trigger warnings, which means that if there's going to be a loud or a startling sound, if there's going to be a light shift, if there's going to be actors moving in and out of the space, that we give you a heads up through the performance itself. So if you came to see Snowy Day, we've got actually our little Willie from Snowy Day featured right here. If you came to see Snowy Day, we did our trigger warnings as windows, and so they would glow red if there was going to be a really loud sound or a startling sound, and they would glow blue if the actors were going to be moving in and out of the space, or they would be yellow if there was going to be a sudden shift in lights. So when you come see Hook and Smee, those are actually going to be done in portholes right on our set. So if that's something that you have a sensitivity towards, or you want to just give a heads up about, that you can experience that way, you can prepare yourself, you can duck out if you need to. One of the other things that we also include is a quiet space, and I'm so excited to share this with you, that we just finished redoing our whole quiet space. And so anybody who comes to our theater that may be experiencing sensory overload or just needs a break can come on in here and engage with some sensory tools, right? We've got some lights, we've got some relaxing things, you can color, you can draw, you can be in a quiet space. And then you can kind of do what you need to do to get your sensory overload kind of passed, and then head back in the theater if you want, or just hang out here if you need to.
For parents and grandparents with children and grandchildren who have unique abilities, a lot of times this would be a deterrent. They'd say, oh, there's no way I can bring them to a production like this. But I love that you have literally thought of everything. That must mean so much to you.
You know what? This is a really, really personal thing for me as well. My brother is autistic, and I have a lot of friends who experience sensory processing disorders, and we just think that theater should be for everybody, and sometimes you have to be intentional to actually make it that way. One of the other things that we do is we also offer ASL interpreted performances and open captions. So here for Hook and Smee, we're offering open captions for the first time, which is really exciting. And so patrons who are deaf or hard of hearing can also have those access tools. And then starting next fall, we're going to be offering audio description, 3D models, and tactile tours for patrons who are blind or low vision. We really want to make Talespinner, again, that home for forever.
And really, really quickly, you have a no-cost barrier. So if you could just touch upon that in like 10 seconds or less.
Yes, okay. Every single production, every single performance at Talespinner Children's Theater is pay what you choose. Cost is no barrier. And if you want to know more, go to www.talespinnercle.org and join our mailing list. Be the first to find out about tickets for Hook and Smee.
Heather, I mean, if you are looking for a job as a television host, I think you could do that too. So thank you so much. You are wonderful. I'll have to check it out with my kids. Have a good day.
I hope you will. Thank you so much.